For years, my ranch pond quietly protected both my land and the neighboring subdivision. I never imagined that one reckless HOA decision would change everything forever. The HOA had always complained that my pond looked too wild. They wanted everything to resemble a perfectly manicured golf course. Karen insisted the pond was an eyesore. She claimed it lowered neighborhood property values despite having no authority over my ranch. I politely explained that the pond sat entirely on my private property. The HOA had absolutely no jurisdiction over it. Karen walked away without another word. Her silence worried me far more than her shouting ever had. 3 days later, I left town for a business meeting. That's when Karen made her move. Without permission, contractors began filling my pond with dirt and construction debris. Years of careful conservation disappeared within hours. Karen believed she had finally solved what she called the pond problem. She had no idea she had destroyed something much more important. My pond wasn't just decorative. It served as a natural flood basin for hundreds of acres after heavy storms. Weather forecasts predicted the biggest storm of the season. Nobody realized the neighborhood's best flood protection had already been destroyed. That evening, the first drops of rain began falling. Most neighbors welcomed the storm, unaware that their natural flood protection no longer existed. Normally, millions of gallons of rainwater would collect safely inside my pond. Instead, the block basin forced the water to search for another path. Within hours, water spilled toward the subdivision. The streets transformed into rivers faster than anyone expected. Families rushed to save whatever they could. Expensive cars, landscaped lawns, and carefully maintained streets disappeared beneath the rising water. Karen watched helplessly as floodwater reached her own front door. For the first time, she realized something had gone terribly wrong. Emergency responders closed several roads overnight. The neighborhood had become too dangerous for normal traffic. When I returned the next morning, I barely recognized the neighborhood. Water-covered streets that had always been perfectly dry. My pond had been buried beneath tons of dirt and rubble. I carefully documented every detail before speaking to anyone. County engineers quickly identified the problem. The destroyed pond had interrupted the area's natural drainage system. The investigation had only begun. Karen's unauthorized decision was now facing serious legal and financial consequences. The county's investigation confirmed what I had warned from the beginning. My pond had served as a critical natural retention basin for decades. Their flood models showed exactly how the stormwater should have flowed. Once the pond was filled, the water had nowhere safe to go except into the subdivision. The HOA board quickly realized this wasn't just property damage. Their unauthorized project had triggered a disaster that affected the entire neighborhood. Residents wanted answers. Many had spent years paying HOA fees, only to see their homes damaged after one reckless decision. I wasn't interested in revenge. I simply wanted accountability for the destruction of my property and the damage it caused. Expert testimony explained how the pond had naturally managed stormwater for years. The evidence was supported by engineering reports and property records. Karen's confidence had completely disappeared. Every document presented reinforced that the excavation had taken place without my permission. Restoring the pond would take months of careful work. Rebuilding a natural drainage system isn't as simple as moving dirt back into place. The restoration project finally began under professional supervision. Every step focused on rebuilding the land responsibly and protecting the surrounding area. The storm eventually passed, but its lesson remained. Respecting property rights and understanding nature's purpose protects everyone in the long run. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more HOA stories every week. Also, let me know in the comments, where are you watching from?